Tu B'Shevat Seder. Let me show you what we have here. First of all, Tu B'Shevat is a holiday that is not in existence in the Torah, but it's found in the Talmud. And it's connected to Rosh Hashanah, to Masechet Rosh Hashanah, and is Rosh Hashanah la'ilanot. So it's a Rosh Hashanah, is the new year for the trees. And the trees are connected with the 7 species that were allowed to be brought into the temple. And I have them right here. Let me see if I remember the names. I wrote them somewhere. We have grapes, and we have figs, and we have apricot, we have olives, pomegranate, we have technically barley and wheat. And here we have wheat and farro instead. But those 7 species, only those 7 species were allowed to be brought into the temple of Jerusalem. And with that, we mark this most interesting celebration of Tu B'Shevat, because in it, the Kabbalists saw a beginning, ending of one period and a beginning of a new one. And like the Passover Seder, they decreed to have these different kinds of foods available, 7 species, and also we've added the drinking of this kiddush, of this grape juice, symbolizing now the 4 seasons of the cycle of the year. The reason is because Tu B'Shevat really separates the previous year of produce for the next one. It's not a harvest time, but certainly differentiates the beginning of a new cycle. We'll talk more about that Havdalah, that separation, when we get to the end and we talk about this Havdalah this coming Shabbat. You have with you your Seder, your wonderful Prepare for a Temple, Bethel, beautiful Seder, and you can move forward towards the first season, the season of winter. In it, we're going to try foods that have a hard exterior and a soft interior. We know that during this time of the year, animals hibernate. You haven't seen a bear around here lately, have you? The trees go to sleep, and many foods that have this hard exterior will have a sweet interior. That is a great metaphor for the idea of personalities, right? Of the idea of an exterior being hard, or maybe a separation with other people, but have this interior of connectivity. So they represent ways in which we separate ourselves from others. And part of the Seder is to remind us that every person is very unique and special. So I'm asking you to take your first cup of kiddush, like 4 cups we have during the Passover Seder. Here at Tu B'Shevat, we have the first kiddush cup being of white grape juice. And in your Seder, you can go back, flip back to the beracha, to the blessing that we recite every time we drink the fruit of the vine. And if you want, you can stand up, because that's the proper way to do this beracha. And we say together, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Peri HaGafen. And now that we have tried this wonderful, maybe Debbie wants a little bit of that too. Why not? This tribute about this mask is from Rosh Hashanah. I can see that it's not Tu B'Shevat compatible. Here you are. And let's go back to our first winter season. And then we will have the fruit of the pomegranate, right? We talked about hard on the outside and soft in the inside. Very special, very special. This connects very well to Rosh Hashanah, the other Rosh Hashanah, the one in September, as we have those seeds counted, and they come out to either 365 days of the year or the 613 mitzvot. And we say the proper blessing for this fruit as the second one, ending with Peri Ha'etz, as we pick it up and say, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Boreh Peri Ha'etz. We can take this one. You can eat other things like almonds, pistachio, walnuts, coconut, all that. Now, a little discussion is added at each one of the seasons. And here the discussion is when you judge a book, when have you judged a book by its cover? Only to realize that you were mistaken. Again, the outer side to discover that the inside was different. So I'm gonna do it like Linda Richmond and give you, talk among yourselves. Got that one? You gotta be old enough to get that. All right. Very good. So we're moving on from winter into spring. Really, this is for locations that you have a spring. In this location, we should have 2 winters, but that's a different story. So here we had few drops of the red grape juice to our white juice to look the way in which a little bit of color can transform our reality. Take a look. Voila. Voila. So this should help us to think about the fact that every stream begins with a small, little gesture, little thing, like a little small single bud of nature. And although we don't eat those pits of fruits, they are the building blocks for the new plan, for the new thing we're gonna have in our lives. So our growth can sometimes come from the innermost overlooked places of our personalities, but then can later blossom. They can symbolize the potential within each one of us that we have not yet taken into consideration, tapped into it to make it grow, the little seed that might grow later. So we pick up our second cup of wine. We rise again for a blessing that you should know by heart now. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Boreh Peri Hagafen. And this time we move forward and show here that we have in our Kehara of Tu B'Shvat, this next species allowed to be in Israel at the temple, the olive. We take one. Now remember how the olive grows to determine what beracha we're going to say. Last time I checked, olive trees, these fruits hang from a tree, so Peri Ha'etz is the right beracha, and you memorized it already. You can use apricots if you like, or avocados, or plums. Together, Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Boreh Peri Ha'etz. This is certainly out of my diet, but eventually. All right. We're now about to begin the summer season. And again, more color is added. In this case, it's going to be equal parts. So we're going to take a new one, make it even more clear for true experience of half and half. So you'll see how it changes. You can see all those three and see how it varies. At this part, we drink a third cup, equal parts of red, white, and white juice. We all also get to nourish some foods that can be eaten whole. No peeling or de-seeding is needed. These fruits reminds us of the wholeness of the world, where nothing is wasted. Everything gets to be recycled. Everything nourishes something else. Even though the trees will be full and green and the flowers will blossom, their growth is not complete until they will wither again and drop their fruits. So much more will be created, as so much more is to come. We take this time to look at the fruit of our own creations and actions and consider how to deepen our relationship in the world and with the earth. Certainly, great progress has been made about considerations of global warming, how to recycle what we produce, and make the earth last longer. In fact, as a result of COVID-19, one of the positive things, COVID-19, was the fact that we saw nature come live again. We saw animals here around the temple that will never exist. We saw foxes and other animals. Somehow nature took back a portion of the place we had taken away from it. The sense of wholeness comes to us at this time of the summer. And with it, this third cup of wine, I'm going to share it. Another one. You will, okay, we'll make, Debbie will make her half and half. I'm going to give you the color, Debbie, so you can compare. Oh, pretty good. All right. Do this at home as well. Have your half and half white and red juice together. And we rise again for the third beracha. Good. Your exercise, again, your exercise too. Good. My knees don't hurt. So good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bore peri hagafim. And now, for that sense of wholeness, and I guess the idea that grapes are a fantastic fruit because they will travel, be eaten, be converted into wine, and then also raisin is a great fruit to symbolize that sense of wholeness, using that fruit all the time. And we also have raisins and apples. Pears are not part of the 7 species, but are there too. Blueberries and raspberries. That's a wonderful idea to add those fruits. Remember, we're adding extra fruits that are not part of the 7 species, but with the concept behind that we are make them important to us. So we're going to get our grapes. In this case, take this. If there is a fruit that symbolizes the 7 species, this is the one you see in all the pics of the 7 species of Israel. You know, that pole with the grapes hanging at each corner. That's a beautiful image of Israel. Connects very well. After all, this Rosh Hashanah La'inanot is much connection to Israel and its fruits. And again, hanging from a tree, Kriyaetz, the Baracha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Bore Peri Ha'etz. Just to throw in 2 berachot that you might think are Bore Peri Ha'etz, but they're not. Bananas, for example. Banana is not Bore Peri Ha'etz because technically the banana tree is not a tree, it's a bush. It doesn't have a trunk. The same with papayas. I don't know if you know papayas. Those who have lived in Central America and South America know that also is a bush. And therefore the appropriate blessing will be Bore Pri Adama, like you use for other types of the fruit from the ground, like potatoes, for example, right? So that's another interesting thing. So here, the discussion for you, and then the meal that you're going to partake becomes important at the third summer cycle. And question here for you to discuss among yourselves is, when do you feel truly whole and happy? What moment in your lives do you feel whole? Like we're trying to project here with the half and half Jews and this concept of grapes and this kind of thing. What moment in your life you feel a sense of completion about yourself? Wholeness in yourself, with the world, in your family, with Judaism as well. So here we have a wonderful meal. We're going to ask to take time for you and your family to enjoy your meals that you have prepared or in the process of preparing. Remember that wonderful recipe that it is part of our Seder. You have in this vegan Tu B'Shevat, including the 7 species. It's wonderfully prepared here at Temple. And we're going to show you a video while you eat your meal. Susan Levitan is being so nice to make us aware of the wonderful health issues that the species of Israel, 7 species, and a Tu B'Shevat Seder can bring into your life. So enjoy the video, and we'll see you back here for the last blessing in about 10 minutes.
Happy Tu B'Shevat. I know the Rabbi has already spoken to you about the religious significance of the 7 species, but today Temple has asked me to talk to you about some of the nutritional benefits to all of the 7 species. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Susan Sagan Levitan. I'm a congregant of Temple Bethel, and I'm also a health coach, wellness speaker, and owner of Chapter U Health Coaching. So just to refresh, the 7 species are olives, pomegranate, wheat, barley, dates, figs, and grapes. And all of these foods were created a really, really long time ago, way before fast food, processed food, refined food, any of the junk that we have in our lives now. And as a health coach, the one thing that I tell my clients and people I work with over and over again is to eat foods like their grandparents ate and their great-grandparents ate, because they're the healthiest foods around. And this is way more than our great-grandparents, way, way, way back. And the benefit of all these foods, the good news is every single one of these things offers many, many health benefits. So collectively, they are all whole foods. And what we mean by whole foods is it means that they are their natural grown state. They are not tampered with, they don't have preservatives added to them, they don't have sugar added to them, they haven't been refined or processed. And the benefit of eating whole foods over processed foods or any of the things I just mentioned is that you're getting it in its real form. So you're getting all the nutrients and the minerals and vitamins without being jeopardized or taken out. And because there's no added sugar, all of the food that comes into your system is not going to like screw up your blood levels and cause you to have sugar cravings, and it's going to help you prevent diabetes and keep you in a much more level space with your blood sugar levels. All these foods also have a lot of fiber in them, and fiber is going to help you with digestion, and they're also going to help you remain full. And that's really important, because when you eat foods with empty calories and all the nutrients and preservatives taken out of them, it's going to make you hungry. So you're going to actually keep full longer with whole foods. And because of this, you are going to possibly even lose weight from eating the whole foods versus non-whole foods. And another benefit of all these foods and having a lot of fiber in them is going to help with your digestion. It could also help lower blood pressure levels. It could also help lower cholesterol. And a lot of fiber and whole foods will also help you fight off cancer, as well as blood situations, heart issues, as well as fight off chronic diseases. So overall, all these foods are super, super healthy, but I wanted to take each one and just talk to you about some unique benefits that each of them has. I won't repeat all the stuff that I just mentioned. The first one is, let's talk about pomegranate. Pomegranate is known as the healthiest fruit on earth. And I love pomegranate. And the seeds of the pomegranate are called Farros, and these seeds are amazing antioxidants. In fact, they have more power in them than 3 times the amount of red wine or chocolate or green tea that are said to be the most beneficial for antioxidants. So these are amazing to eat. They also offer all of the other nutrients that I just mentioned before. They're very, very versatile. You can use them like this. You can also drink the pomegranate juice, and it also has a lot of other benefits, such as it helps you with memory and it helps you with staying strong. So this is the pomegranate, and I am now going to move on to barley. Barley has a lot of fiber, more than all of them have that, but barley has a lot of fiber. It's very good at helping balance your gut bacteria, so it's going to help with your digestion and inflammation, and it also has a lot of magnesium, and it's very, very versatile, as I said. It's going to be used in soups, it could be used in baking, it could be used in bread, and it's a great thing to have in your diet. It's a whole grain, and it's extremely healthy for you. And I forgot to mention that you're going to be receiving all of these foods in your package from Temple. We are not providing wheat, we're providing Farro, which is a substitute. And I'm actually glad, because Farro is a whole grain, so it's significantly healthier than regular wheat. If you are going to use wheat, I suggest that you use a whole grain wheat. When you use wheat, you want to make sure it's whole grain, because when it is white wheat, like the flour that you use in cookies and bagels and a lot of things like that, it's pulverized, and all of the nutrients and the minerals and the vitamins that regular whole wheat provides you are completely depleted. So you want to make sure that everything that you buy, whether it's pasta or bread or anything related to wheat, that you want 100% whole wheat. And it provides a lot of fiber, as I said, as well as a lot of vitamin B, magnesium, and riboflavin. Olives, which are one of my favorite treats, are amazing. They're a very healthy fat and a great thing to have in your diet. They provide a lot of nutrients as well. They have a lot of fiber in them. They help with memories. They help with sunburns. They actually help with PMS cramps for anyone that needs it. And they also help with eyesight. It's not just carrots. Olives do a really good job with that as well. They also prevent you from being tired. They also often give you a lot of energy. And one negative thing about olives when you buy them packaged like this is the amount of sodium in them. So I suggest if you do buy olives like this to get a low sodium version, because it's much healthier for you. So now we're going to move on to, what are we going to move on to? Dates. Dates are very sweet, and the good thing about them is they're natural sugars though. So you're going to get the benefit of the fiber, and it's not going to boost your blood sugar levels like a candy bar would. So these are a really great alternative when you are craving something sweet. They replenish your system and give you energy very quickly. In fact, many times these are the first food that a lot of people eat when they're breaking fast, because it helps give them energy but keeps their blood sugar levels stable, which is a great benefit. A lot of things have been made from dates. Date sugar is a natural sweetener, which is much better than regular sugars and sugar substitutes. You can put dates into baking, side dishes, and it also can be, a salad dressing. So there's a lot of different ways you can incorporate dates into your system. Super, super, super healthy. I love it, and I cook with it a lot. And let's move. Oh, one other thing about dates is interesting. It fights off plaque in your brain, and it gives you memory power, and it also is one of the foods that they use to help against Alzheimer's. now we're going to talk about grapes. And we will have grapes in our bag, but we do not have them today. But there's also grape juice, which is equally healthy for you. Grapes are huge and important for boosting your immune system. So they're great now, especially with everything going on. They are really good for eye health also, which is surprising. Memory. They help you with more focus, and they also help you live a longer life. They create longevity in your cells and just help you stay healthier overall. And they're also really good for bone health. And grapes, as I said, they could be a beverage. They can also be a snack. You can use them in foods. You can use them in salads. You can use them as part of a cheese board. They're also very, very versatile. Lastly, we have figs. And figs are one of the oldest foods to mankind. They're absolutely delicious. They offer all the health benefits that we mentioned about all the other fruits. They have tons of fiber, antioxidants, they're whole food, so they're not going to boost your blood sugar levels, and they also have many other health benefits, such as they help with memory, they also help with being strong, and another unique thing about figs are they help remedy you if you have a sore throat. So you can either suck on them or put them into a tea format, or just eat them as a snack, and they'll help you hopefully get rid of your sore throat. Another interesting thing about figs is they help make you a little bit drowsy. So if you have trouble falling asleep at night, or if you have a kid that isn't going to take a nap, they're a great thing to snack on or eat after a meal, because they'll help you get a better night's sleep and help in your bedtime routine. And the most cool thing about figs is, and some of you may not know this, but figs are actually known as the beauty fruit, because a lot of healthcare products, especially skincare products, have figs in them, because the breakdown of figs actually, when you put it on your skin, is said to help reduce wrinkles and blemishes. How amazing is that? And fine lines. So all of us who are concerned about what their skin is looking like, it's a great thing to eat figs or to put them into your face care product routine. And they also are really good for your hair. A lot of shampoos have figs in them also, because they offer a lot of hydration and moisture. So I hope that this was helpful to you, and you have a wonderful holiday. Chag Tu B'Shevat Seder. Again, I'm Susan Sagan Levitan. Please reach out with any questions.
Great, thank you, Susan. That was most interesting. We learned a lot from you, and you really have given our Tu B'Shevat Seder a dimension about health, and going back to the 7 species of nature that we had never dreamt of, and it's just fantastic. If we can go back to our Seder, I know you must be still eating and enjoying your healthy foods, but it would be nice if we can go back. Yeah, I promise you that this Seder is not going to be like the other Seder that we're preparing for Pesach. That's going to be a bit longer. You have to excuse us, But hey, this one doesn't have matzah. That there is something there. So we're going for the fall. Not for the fall. We're going for the season of fall, right? Autumn. And we're now at our final step. So we will drink a full cup of juice that is dark, right? And focus on the sense of smell and taste this time. The drops of white and red remind us of the first cup of the Seder and the cyclical nature of the seasons. Beyond the cycle of eating, in the cycle of breathing, when something lives both within and without us at the same time. At this level, all things are already part of each other, like smells. The way we remember this connection are subtle. The feel of the soil, or the smell of dew. During this portion, we think about what was invisible to the eye, or things that are part of us and part of the world that we cannot see, cannot hear, like trees growing, leaves blowing in the wind, or the sun coming up to bring us a new day that helps with this 4-season cycle of life. Your 4th cup of wine, 4th cup of juice, pour a nearly full glass of red grape juice into what you had mixed in half. So I'm gonna pass
We have, that's pure grape.
Oh, that's
pure
pure.
red.
Okay, it's already fantastic. Good. And we will say the blessing again and drink it all.
Aren't you supposed to add a little bit of white?
A little vice, yes, should be added. That I think is an interesting tradition. I think has to do with we don't want to be absolutes in our seasons because here and there the fall has a little bit of summer. You know, what is dark has a little bit of light. This is our fourth cup. And we then rise for the baracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boreh peri hagafen. We drink. And we taste our smell with the cinnamon, and we have little bags here, right? Of rosemary, bay leaf, cedar, all that. Also is important. And it connects very well with the things that we're going to say about Havdalah, this particular Shabbat. And it's quite interesting because the sense of smell is technically a sense that Jewish law does not exercise any prohibition about it. All the other senses have some sort of a law attached to it. You know, you should speak kind words. You should try not to hear bad words, right? You should not look at certain things that are inappropriate. But the smell, except for not praying inside of the bathroom, there's no law that really curtails smell in Judaism. So it's very interesting that we bring it out of this fourth cup of wine that we just drank. What can you discuss? What helps you remember? What helps you appreciate that which you cannot see? We have a special blessing that we have to recite at the end of our Seder. It's a blessing that we recite when we eat various fruits, as we have done today. So go back into your pages of your Seder and go back to the page that has prayers at the top. At the bottom is a little bit of unknown bracha, but it includes everything that we have eaten today. And it's used mainly when we don't say hamotzi. Remember when we say hamotzi, we then say birkat hamazon. Here there was no bread on the table, no matzah on the table, just the 7 species and other things and the drinks. And for that, this is the blessing recited after eating these various fruits. Let's do it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boreh nefashot rabot vechesronan al kol ma shebarata leachayot bahem nefesh kol chai. Baruch he haolamim. Translation, blessed be you, the one who created so many different living things, all needing each other to make one life interwoven through them all as one soul. Blessed be the life of all worlds. It's a beautiful translation, editing actually, of the bracha. And now we are arriving to the end of our Seder. We would like to make you aware of the seed kit that we have put in your bags, make you aware of the vegan Tu B'Shevat 7-species salad and different recipes, make you aware of plant ID apps. You can plant actually from your own phone. Now, go to 1-800, that's a different religion. You can use your phone and plant. That is fantastic. Look at that page and find what is suitable to you, and you can do it. Wonderful. So coming to the end of our Seder, I would like to make the connection between Tu B'Shvat and Havdalah. As you know well, the Havdalah that we use every Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, consists of a torch, right? A candle that's really a torch. Consists also of wine and also of spices, similar to the ones we smell today. But the point I'm trying to make is that Tu B'Shvat puts an emphasis on this year as an ending time when we are about to think of the new cycle, when trees and fruits are going to be created by God once again. Tu B'Shvat is counted as having grown fruits in the previous agricultural year, while fruit which develop after belongs to the next year. It marks an ending and it marks a new beginning in a very similar way in which Havdalah marks the end of Shabbat and the beginning of a new week. So let us celebrate Tu B'Shvat with the spirit of blessing over the new fruits of our world, saying the barachot we have said, and find one or more instances in our lives in which we can mark that difference between A and B, between the profane and the sacred, between Shabbat and the rest of the week, and also between the produce and the harvest of the previous year, with this beginning that we're not sure when it's going to come, of spring, of fruit, of a new cycle for the 7 species of fruit that we have talked today that are so important in our tradition. We ask you to join us this Saturday night for a special Havdalah, and we will have it at around 6:15. It will be on Shabbat. We also have put here a tzedakah box, the famous Keren Kayemet LeIsrael, or Jewish National Fund, because in essence, Tu B'Shvat connects to the land of Israel. And you know very well how many times you have contributed to plant new trees in Israel, and that has made the desert in Israel blossom and make our country there successful. I think what is left is a little bit of what kind of songs do we sing on Tu B'Shvat? Well, there are a couple I remember. One is like Eretz Abat Chalav Hu Ahadav Revash. That's a famous song. And the other is Tu B'Shvat Higia Chag La'ilamot, right? That's another very Israeli music. But you can, for that, that's your homework. Find the beautiful songs of Tu B'Shvat. What else, Chief? All right. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Susan Levitan. Thank you to Debbie, to Jerry, to Becca, and to Sarah for putting this so beautifully together and make of something that otherwise went by in the calendar an important date in our temple. I hope you enjoy your bags that we gave you. Oh, nothing broke. This is just the miracle of Tu B'Shvat. And I knew it would happen, but it just brought excitement into our Tu B'Shevat Seder. And we have these beautiful bags that are biodegradable, aren't they? No? Yes, it's a commitment to our environment. Enjoy Tu B'Shvat, enjoy your beautiful little Haggadot here for the Seder, and have a wonderful Tu B'Shvat for the rest of the evening. Chag Sameach to all of you.